So now I'll be needing the back piece. So I'll need to enter the numbers for that piece into the console's form computer. So get it to program. Erase. I'm going to choose not to erase. Cast on is 1. All stitch patterns, no. Stitch pattern 100. Test, no. All stitch patterns, yes. Form, yes. Form 1. So it's going to have these numbers I had from before, so I'm not necessarily going to have to type them all. I'm going to have to change a number of them, though. I'm going to have to change, starting down here with 19. But you see they're all the same because it's the same up into the armpits. So 101, 161, 102, 144, 82, 66, 66, 195, 100, 7, 3, 38, 82, 60, 60, 19, 42, 42. Okay, now I have to change them. 105, 7, 128, 161 is actually the same, 162 is the same, 46 is the same, 7, 144. Okay, now again it's different. 187, 138, and then 0. So I had 0 at 29. So now it's ready to go. Start cast on, enter, reverse shaping, no, form, test. So you can write the instructions out again, just like we did for the front, if you like. I am not going to do that right now. No to form test. Okay, so we are going to cast on from left 45 to right 45. So I'm going to make sure it obeys the needle rule. So I am not going to use LX and the console instructions. I'm going to bypass it, but I'm going to pretend. I'm going to fool the computer into thinking I'm doing it. So I'm going to pull the needle up, every other needle up, starting from left 45 until right 44. Racking handles up, and now I'm going to pull up the needles in between on the back bed. And then the last needle on the right is on the back bed. I'm going to put the edge springs on. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter on the console. It wants to go to the start position. I'm lining it up with the comb to the right of the last needle. Cast on. SX. GX. Empty row. Okay, a racking handle up. I did not put any pushers up, so I'm just going to do it manually. Acknowledge, racking handle up, check needles, whatever. Empty row. Once again. Check needles. One color. Stitch size, I'm going to do 2 on the front and 2 on the back. Orange strippers, I'm just going to use a cast on comb, no strippers for this first row. LX on the front, I'm going to do N, and then N on the back. Okay, and then one row. Okay, adjust the stitch size, I do 3.5. Okay, that was 6 notches. To get from 2 to 3.5 is 6 notches. So I'm going to put my cast on comb on. roughly center. Oop. Seems to be splitting too much. Get this. Let me try this again. There we go. It's actually a little tighter than if you had the strippers in, because when you put the strippers in after using on stitch size 2 or strippers, it'll actually push the yarn and you'll have to release the yarn from the holder. So that's why I just chose to do it this time. I'm not going to be needing it for weights or anything, but I just wanted to have it as tight as stitch size 2. Okay, 3.5 on the front. It's 3.5 on the back. I'm advancing the console. I am going to do CX on both the front and the back. Okay, 1 row. And no strippers. I'm pulling the cast on comb down with my left hand, and I'm going to move the lock with my right hand. Okay, and then a 2nd row. Okay, stitch size. Now I'm going to go to stitch size 475. So that is 5 notches. And on the back and on the front. Okay. Another row. That's the end of the cast on. So we're just going to continue here until it's the end of the border on the form. And I'm going to add the strippers after a few rows when I think they will not hit the cast on comb. I chose not to bother with strippers actually. Okay, end border. Okay, now I am going to move the piece from the back bed to the front bed. So I'm going to increase the stitch size on both. I'm going to increase it to 6. Another 5 notches. I'm going to count this as the first row of the main piece, even though technically it's still a ribbing row. Okay, so again, N, stitch size 6, 1 row. Okay. Okay, now with the lock on the left, I'm going to take the end springs off. Racking handle at about 8 or 9 o'clock. Test some needles and move it left or right just so the needles almost touch. Okay. Bring up the needles in between on the front bed. Get the U100E on setting 3. Place it to the left of the work. Okay, so we have the racking handle, we have the needles, and we have the right setting. And we have the edge springs out of the way, so I'm going to have room on the opposite side as well. Okay, so here we go. Looks like 1 didn't transfer. So let's get that. Or 2 didn't transfer. So I'm going to put this back on the needle, unknit if needed. It looks like I'm just going to unknit one round, and then reknit it to make sure it's all set up right. There we go. Okay. Looks like I'm going to unknit this one as well. Looks like that was not going through all the way. This one. Okay, so okay. Gonna put the racking handle all the way back up so I can transfer these more easily. Okay, those all look good. Dozen the back down. Move the E100 back out of the way. Put the edge springs on in the front. Back lock, I'm moving to GX. Front lock, I am going to leave on N. I am going to change the stitch size now to 675, our main stitch size for stockinette. Okay, we are on row counter 9, so it was border plus 1 row. Now we are going to knit straight until here. It's the same front and back, so the back is just different where the shaping goes up here. It doesn't go, it doesn't have a neckline, so it's the same here. So we're going to go until row counter 106, I believe. Okay. It's a single bed. I am going to put on my okay. Okay, now I need to decrease 4. So I am going to pull up the needle, wrap it around and down, and move it over, move the work to the next needle. And I know this is off the screen, so I will show you some decreases soon. Okay, after I have done all 4, I'm going to do another row and do 4 over on this left side that you'll see. Okay. Okay, decreasing 4 over here. So I'm pulling the yarn up, push the needle up, wrap it below the hook, and then over the hook, and then down. So that gives it a little extra length there, so it's not too tight, not just knitting it and moving it over. So be careful not to tighten it too much. So that was 1 decrease. Under the hook, under the latch, over. Two decreases. Once you've moved it over, that completes the decrease. That's 3 decreases. Now 4, going to number 4, I mean. Okay, I lost video in the middle of this decrease, so let's do this again. I was moving this over to the next one, I believe. I had the 1 loop, moving this over. Okay, that's stitch 41, so I believe that's all the decreases I need. Okay. Another row. Tighten up the yarn. I went a little far. Okay, and I'm actually just going to leave the edge springs off. Okay, now I'm going to decrease 2. Again, I'm off screen. Pardon. Pop. Okay. One more row. Decrease 2. Lift needle up. Wrap around. One decrease. And 2 decreases. Tighten a little because I pulled out some slack. Okay, decrease 3. Now, this form did give an odd order, 4, 2, 3 for the decreases. If you want to, you can adjust that curve and do 4, 3, 2 instead. I think it has to do with the rounding calculation when it does the conversion from the swatch to this. Okay, that was 2. No, I'm doing 3. Okay, needles down. Okay, another row. Decrease 3 over here. Pulling up some slack. Needle up, wrap around, down, transfer. It's 1 decrease. Okay. Start number 2. It's 2. That was 3. Okay. Another row. Another 2 decrease. Okay. Another row. And another decrease of 2. Wrap it down, transfer, and then start the second. Wrap it down, transfer. Okay, another row. Pulling that slack back. Okay, now we are going to knit even for a while. I'm going to put the edge springs back on. Because now we are at this section. And we're going to go all the way up to where these start decreasing. I'm going to put the motor back on. And adjust the edges because we don't have many stitches now. Move it a little closer. Okay. A little close, a little far, I mean. So I'm going to move the edge spring. Just a little bit more. Okay. Okay. Now I need to decrease 10 for the first shoulder. Okay. One. Two. 8. 9. 10. Put all those empty needles down. Get a lot closer. Tighten up the yarn as needed for pulling up that slack. And then go across. Okay, 10 on this side as well. Okay, get a little slack. One. Two. Three. Okay, that's 10. Okay, another row. Get close, pull up the slack. Nine now. Eight. 9. Okay, extra needles down. Get the lock close and then pull up any slack. Okay, another row. Okay, 9 more. Oop. Okay. Lock close. Pull up slack. Okay, another row. Okay, and then these all get cast off now. Okay, I'm going to use the tricot fit here. I'm going to put the front lock on GX. Move it over to the other side. Okay, down, down to start the tricot fit. Line up. Put the eyelet in. So I have to roll that around again because I hit it. Okay. Okay. Pull up a needle after one gap here. Line up the Decker needle in the empty spot. Hit this latch to get this down, locked in there. Now left side up to engage. Okay, right side is down to get the work off the needles. So I am using the tricot fit here. I usually don't do it for finished edges, but here we're going to have a collar on this. So this isn't going to be the finished edge. So any inconsistencies with the cast off or too loose will be fine because I'll have I'll have the collar over it. I just broke my nail. Okay, and then okay, and then after a little while, a few left, the right side lever goes up. Okay, and pass the work. Finish a rotation. Down, down, off. Pull the eyelet out. Work the yarn around. Okay, put that away. Now we are going to snip this yarn below here. So here, I'm going to re-secure this. Okay, and I am going to just do that loop off. I twisted it just for fun. Okay, and then take it off these few needles. Here we go. It's stuck somewhere. Oh yeah, here. Okay. Okay, and there we are. This is the back. So here's the armhole shaping on the left and right side, shoulder shaping up here. There's the ribbing. Take that off the comb. Oops. Okay. Now we just have the remaining pieces to finish. So here you see this cast off. Little extra loop here. Gonna tie that in.